Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Shadowrun Hong Kong. Where we left off last time we were going to go to the train station, but I've noticed a couple more named people I never noticed before, like Stefan Dynamite. A disheveled man in filthy rags teeters on the sidewalk, wobbling on unsteady legs. His bloodshot eyes dart about desperately, and the acrid sweet odor that wafts off of him buzzes unpleasantly in your nostrils. You okay, man? You have to help me, man. His teeth grind as his grip tightens, his hand feels like a vice. I need your help. I don't have to do anything, now step back or you're gonna regret it. The man's grip tightens further. He pulls you closer. You notice that his tattered clothing bears designer logos. It'll be worth your while. Just talk to Handsome Lee for me. Yeah, I've met him, but who the hell are you? I'm Steven Dynamite. He nods eagerly, desperation in his eyes. A sluggish tongue wipes itself over the cracked skin of his lips. Look, you gotta help me. I've been poisoned. That crap that Lee sold me put bad things in my head. Whenever I close my eyes, I see dark, narrow tunnels, so many hands grabbing, razor-sharp teeth gnawing, and the children... Bad things in your head. Are you talking about hallucinations? The junkie stares into space. A faint trickle of saliva makes its way down onto his chin. No, exactly. More like nightmares. They feel very real. Teeth biting. Faces I knew. His trembling voice trails off. You know, the whole nightmare thing has been going around. It isn't just you. No. This isn't that, I'm telling you. I was poisoned, I know it. You'll help me, won't you? Alright, I'll do what I can. Then tell Lee what he's done to me, that I need relief. Tell him that I want... His sentence trails off. What do you want? I want my money back. His reedy voice wavers, but he stops and says no more. Poison, nightmares, money back. Got it. Anything else? Just come back and please hurry. I guess we can go talk to the drug dealer. Really quickly for him. I have known many drug dealers through my former career as a probation officer, and almost all of them, not the best people. Not the worst people either. So there's a weird discrepancy, because like low-level weed dealers, nobody cares. But like high-end drug dealers are some of the skeeziest people that I've ever met in my life. I'm sure not all of them are, but these ones definitely were. You mentioned you sold enhanced sense. Wait, no, that's not it. I gotta write it to someone with a message for you. That's the one. Handsomely beckons you closer with a languid gesture. I think I can guess. Steven Dynamite? He coolly raises an eyebrow at you. Yeah, actually, that's right, and you're his dealer. He places his hand on his heart in mock indignation. I am the inventor of much-acclaimed experimental pharmaceuticals. But why split hairs? While your little guinea pig is suffering, claims the drug you sold him is giving him horrible visions. He pauses thoughtfully. Interesting. And what does he want from me? What do you think? He wants his Nuyen back. He straightens abruptly from his elegant slouch and juts his chin out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with my latest creation. It was a painstakingly designed to elevate the senses and titillate the spirit, a smooth high that I have indulged in myself. Now, if the unfortunate Stephen, happened to dilute my masterpiece with other lesser substances, I can hardly be held responsible. His tone of finality is unmistakable. You don't get it. I don't care whether your drugs work or not. I just want Steve's money. He stares at you for a while, then reaches into his breast pocket. With a deft motion, he pulls out a small packet and presents it to you. There is no money, not anymore. I have expenses, just I'm sure that you do. But here, give this to Stephen with my regards. What's in the package? A freebie. It's what our dear Stephen really wants, whether he'll admit it or not. Deliver it with my compliments. I thought only the first hit was free. He cocks his head to the side with a wry smile. I suppose I have a soft spot for my clients when I know they're down. You're practically a charitable organization. The man smiles blandly. Quite. Got any charity for me then? I wouldn't mind a freebie myself. Lee favors you with a bright flash of a smile. Sorry, if I give away any more product, I'll wind up a charity case myself. Be a good man and give that sample to Stephen. I can't claim that it'll cure his bad dreams, but it should provide him with some modicum of relief. Relief is exactly the word that he used. The dealer nods sagely. I told you that I know Stephen well enough to guess when he'll be desperate for another hit. People are that predictable, huh? The dealer raises one eyebrow. To an extent, yes. Anyway, I make a point of understanding people. It helps the business run smoothly, and I never have to use force. You never get violent with street rivals and deadbeat junkies running around? He lays a slender finger along his aquiline nose. Never. For one, it's not my style. Second, I know how to make an exit before things get too hot. You're a lucky bastard then. This is a rough neighborhood. Luck has nothing to do with it. You keep your wits about you. You survive. He holds the packet out towards you and gives you a shake. Take this, give it to him, it should help him, at least in the short term. Alright. Very good. Please let me know how it goes when you're done. We're giving him some bliss. 100 Nuyen worth. Damn, I should just sell it, but we'll see if we can get some karma for giving some drugs to a drunkie. I don't know if that's really a karma type situation, but whatever. Steve and Dynamite lolls on the sidewalk. While he jerks less as he moves, his skin has taken on a grey hue and his chest heaves with each laboured breath. His sunken eyes swivel towards you. He wets his parched lips and addresses you. Hello, I'm relieved to see you. Thought you might not return. Can't trust anyone. This is a bad place. Hey Steve, I hate to say it, but you're not looking so hot. Fat tears begin to cascade down his dirty, ruined face. I don't want to sleep because of the nightmares. I'm ravenous, so ravenous, but food makes me ill. I've got the shakes real bad too. I just want this to end. The junkie slumps in place. Furrowing his brow, he responds with difficulty. Anyways, thanks for talking to that little bastard for me. So, you got my money? Lee didn't have your money. He gave me this to pass to you instead. The junkie's eyes light up as he sees the side of the packet from Handsome Lee. Oh ho! Maybe kicking the habit would be a better idea. It's practically ruined you, man. The man chuckles softly. It's purely circumstantial that I picked drugs as my escape. I just seek out another dependency. So I might as well take Lee's fresh hit. Packet, please. Hey, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to judge you. The junkie's trembling hand shoots out, his fingers curling and uncurling. There you go. He eagerly snatches the packet of bliss from your hand, eyes lighting up with excitement. Before you take that, I want to ask you about those dreams. He looks at you suddenly suspicious. You want to ask about my dreams? Why? Because I've been having bad dreams too. Maybe we can get to the bottom of them together. He stares you in the eye and his voice drops to a sharp whisper. These aren't like ordinary dreams, they're visions, they're so real. I put all kinds of substances into my body and I've never experienced anything like this. You were practically raving the last time we talked. Explain your dreams to me again, clearly this time. He nods, though his tongue stumbles and stalls as he speaks. I'm walking through a series of dark, narrow halls. It stinks to high heaven, and I run into more and more people as I move forward. The people are jostling me, but I'm starving. Like I haven't eaten for days. I just want some food, so I press on. I start seeing children in the crowd. Children with terrible burns, disfigured faces. All these people are grabbing at me. He begins to tremble from head to foot, and his eyes bulge. Then I see the teeth all around me. I feel the teeth on me. Bathed in sweat from the effort of speaking, he cradles his head in his arms. Okay, Steve, let's talk about the drugs. You said you're on a lot of them, right? The junkie gives a weary smile. More than I could count. I used to get my kicks from explosives. I loved blowing up stuff, seeing glass splintering, solid walls disintegrating, flames licking in the sky. Not anymore. Now I need needles and pills. Were you a Shadowrunner? No, not so much. I was a bomb maker. I designed custom ordnance. It was a dream job, plus it was very lucrative. He rubs his thumb and forefingers together, then snaps. Megacorps couldn't get enough of the devices I invented. I was too high on my own ego to wonder what they were up to. What were they doing? They were fueling wars. They often managed just to sell... I'm not going to do the stutter anymore. To both sides in conflicts all over the world. Casualties be damned. So by selling to them, there's blood on your hands? The junkie's already sickly pallor turns ashen. It's not even as simple as that. The man balls his hands into fists in his lap. I thought my bombs were being used in wars against militias, mercenaries, and armies, and I didn't think of them as people. But the weapons I developed were used against civilian targets. The man starts digging his rough fingernails into his palms so hard that tiny crescents of blood stain his palms. I'm from Gizu. Sichuan has taken over much of the province, but pockets of resistance remain. These are big political struggles, actions removed from the lives of ordinary people. Yet the village where I grew up in Gizu was annihilated. These were tobacco farmers, winemakers, peasants, not military. Tears leak from the man's eyes, tracing narrow lines down his filthy cheeks. I recognized the distinctive patterns, the traces that were left behind. These were my bombs, used to shatter the landscape of my childhood. Okay, Steve, I think I know what's going on here. I guess that I must be feeling guilty with the bombs, huh? All the blood on my hands. I can feel it all the time, just like the bombs. I don't want anyone to get hurt. How am I ever going to make this go away? How will I live with myself? The drugs help me forget, but... He shakes his head, a look of utter helplessness on his face. Do something to undo the harm you've done. I don't know, use your imagination, man. The junkie sways mutely in place, gnawing on his chapped upper lip or lower lip. A minute passes before he manages to speak again. I wouldn't know where to begin. Need time to think. His hoarse voice cracks with emotion. You can show those megacorps that they can't use you, plot your revenge. A tight-lipped smile stretches across the man's haggard features as your suggestion registers in his brain. I honestly wouldn't mind using my expertise against those bastards. Might be reason enough to get clean. His sunken eyes sparkle with the thought. I'll tell you what, I'll think about it. He nods eagerly. I'll think about it really hard. Thinking about it isn't going to be enough. You need to do something. Yeah, I will. His face fills up with something you haven't seen there before. Determination. I will. I promise. Oh god, he's going to blow up some sort of megacorp and kill a bunch of people. There's also one more person, well, two more people that I saw in the district I wanted to talk to before we move on. There's a Heoi smuggler here. Two men in dirty synth leather jackets look up from their conversation at your approach. They both look haggard, their shoulders slumped with exhaustion, and neither appears to have shaved this morning. What do you want, man? We're talking here. I'm new in town. Figured it would pay to make all the connections I can. I'm developing a stutter today, apparently. A grim chuckle rumbles out of him. You chose the wrong day, stranger. We're moving further downstream, and we're doing it today. There's something wrong with this place. Too many bad dreams. I know what you mean. The man blinks. His expression shifts from guarded to curious. Did you dream it too? The long corridor and the thing with the ivory crown? Something like that. He licks his lips, nodding. Lots of people in town dreamed it, or something like it. From the folks I've talked to, there was a bunch of different versions. Some people turned away from the corridor, went down alleys, that kind of thing. I've never even set foot in the walled city before, stranger, so tell me, why the hell am I dreaming about it all of a sudden? I don't even know what the damn thing looks like on the inside. I think there's something strange going on, something magical, and the walled city is where it's coming from. He grunts. It's a curse, nothing else it could be. Everybody knows the place is haunted, a living hell full of evil spirits and poisoned ki. If you're not careful, you'll wind up trapped inside with the rest of the human garbage. His companion cuts in. You catch a healthy whiff of alcohol in his breath. That isn't going to happen to us, no way. Only the lowest of the low wind up in the walled city. So like you said, we're going further downstream. As soon as our things are packed, we're out of here. Damn right, this place is a dump anyways. Let's try our luck in Macau. To hell with this place. Best of luck. Hey, we could say the same to you. You're staying here in Heoi after all. Of the three of us, you're the one who's most likely to need it. That's not true. You could just get killed on your way down river or something. These things happen. So apparently we have one more group member I didn't talk to down the hatch in the lower levels. This guy, Racter. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air, and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. The downstairs tenant has converted this place into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and Duraplast extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a long black trench coat stands with his back to you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. Ah, I was wondering when I would meet the neighbor. His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of Russian accent there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. Please stay where you are. I will be with you in just a moment, and unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools here that could take your hand clean off. Take your time, I won't touch anything. Ah, you're very kind, thank you. I try to see what's on the screen. The feed on the monitor looks like some sort of design software. You can see what appears to be a slim, spidery appendage in orthographic and perspective views. Very good, yes, that's coming along nicely. Very nicely indeed. He turns towards you smiling, and for the first time you can see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flecks of ice. So sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Eltimar. It's no problem. Don't worry about it. You're too kind. Now tell me, what can I do for you? His eyes trail off as a flash of motion catches his eye. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back menacingly, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts, and his tone goes apologetic. Please don't mind the drone. He can be territorial, but so long as you remain civil, he will not bite. He extends a hand. Simultaneously, the drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. Racter. My mechanical counterpart there is called Koshi. Koshai? Koshai. I shake his hand. A pleasure. His hand is rough and abnormally warm to the touch. He shakes your hand with a solid grip. I'm very pleased to meet you, my friend. In a community such as Heoi, it's important to be on good terms with one's neighbors. Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions if you have time. He glances at the bracer on his forearm. A technical display winks to life, then gutters out. Very well. This morning's casting should still be cooling for a few minutes yet. That's enough time to talk. When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said. A casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshai. He gestures at the display above the work table. I don't even know how to say that. A biomimetic? A biomimetic design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a decapod crustacean. The mangrove crab, to be specific. You're designing drone parts in here? He nods. And fabricating them, yes. Wouldn't it be simpler to outsource the fabrication? Simpler, yes, but not better. Here I have ultimate control over the entire process, from start to finish, and I have skills to make good use of that control. Drone architecture was one of my professions, you see. Now that I have freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude, I see little reason to rely on outsiders for much of anything. Koshai is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose it is. Not many riggers would name their most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. A nod to my heritage, I suppose. What was the fairy tale about? A thoroughly unpleasant person. Koshai the Deathless, he was called, and for good reason. His soul was cleverly hidden outside of his body, and he could not be killed so long as it remained intact. Koshai was a villain and a notorious kidnapper of women, but something about him always stuck with me. I suppose that it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so, when it came time to name my beloved creation, he was the first name that came to mind. And your drone, Deathless, is like its namesake? In a manner of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on disk in secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process, but I confess it was really quite ingenious, but alas my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it and Koshai will become as deathless as the stories claim, but it will not be today. Are you Russian? I thought I caught it. A hint of an accent there. He nods. Yes, you have good ear. I'm impressed. Yes, I grew up in... Oh my god, I don't know how to say that name. Nizhny? Nizhny? Must be Nizhny? Yeah. Novgorod. I went to school there, started my career there, in the industrial sector. A fairly common story, I'm sure. But I have traveled a great deal, and in so doing, I have absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese, 15. He shrugs apologetically. It shames me to admit I'm only literate in 12, though. That's very impressive. Perhaps, when compared to the common man, but I've known a great many polyglots who can and do put me to shame. He gives you another shrug, and Koshai mirrors the gesture. Arabic has been a particular bugbear of mine. The unfamiliar characters and lack of vowels make that damn tricky to get a handle on, but I suppose that all men have their limits. You said you're working for a corp. Whose payroll were you on? He sighs. That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary. You see, I did not part ways with my employer on the best of terms. I will tell you that I worked for Grishkin Aviakor, but you'll forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. You have some interesting machinery in here, not the kind you typically see outside corporate settings. He smiles. That could be the same of many in Hoyo, I am sure. This is a smuggler's den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you out of curiosity? The robotic arms that you've got over there, they look like something taken from an automotive assembly plant. His smile flashes brightly in the light. Good guess, that's precisely what they are. They fell off a boat, you might say. They weren't a jeep, but I acquired them and had them mounted to the walls of my shop. I simply had to have them. The return on investment has been dramatic, yes. They're cooler by far than the Waldo devices I used in my professional life, but they still do the job and they are mine. He gazes lovingly at the industrial arm, still smiling. They've increased my fabrication capabilities nearly tenfold, and to me is worth any price. Keeping all this machinery running can't be cheap. How can you afford it? Freelance, at the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There are all these corporations in need of design consultations. You'd be surprised how lucrative such work can be, and there is always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. You said that you did other work besides consulting. Can you tell me what kind? He pauses, and for a second something flashes in his eye. Koshi lowers his body into a crouch. A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe, but then we're having a personal conversation. Indeed we are, but even personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit end of the spectrum. Tell you what, I'm just gonna guess. You're Shadowrunner, aren't you? He gives you a shallow nod. I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? Design consultants live in apartments in Victoria Harbour. You're living in a rusted-out boat in Haoi. There's gotta be a reason for that. He shrugs. You are correct, of course. The residents of shadow communities are usually too poor to live elsewhere or engage in behaviors too illicit to risk it. I will admit to being rather in the latter camp. Designing robotics is my passion, but it doesn't always pay the bills. He runs a hand over Koshi's armored chassis, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. My status as a foreigner has proven something of an impediment in this regard. And so, sorry as I may be to say that the lion's share of my income flows from Koshi's aptitude for butchery. Such is life, I suppose. We do what we must to do what we must. Or do what we love. We do what we must to do what we love. Seems like everybody on this boat runs the shadows. Why not pool our resources and work together? He purses his lips, considering a compelling offer, and I'm doing quite well on my own, but I must admit there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me, and I'm not a decker. My strength comes from material objects in the real world, a solid thing with mass and heft, things I can build and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that can display a mastery over the intangible. These groups of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, perhaps we can help each other out. Yes, we have a shaman and a decker, both competent at their jobs. In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, it will continue. If not, I will bid you farewell and go back to working alone. How does that sound? Sounds good. Very good, excellent. When you receive a job, you know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal, and with that, I'm afraid I must bid you good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. Be in touch. See ya. So yeah, oh no, there's a door. There's there's also a level up. He must join our group. Yeah, okay. There's actually nothing in this room, but he has a level from the last time our group leveled. We didn't have him with us, so we can get Predator, which increases the accuracy of his drone, or, oh my god, he can move really fast, or we can just make it a melee murder machine, which I kind of want to do, actually. I really want to try Racter out. I love summons. Actually, I should clarify this. I'm going to take Mangler, but I love non-shaman summons. I find having to like allocate AP to your summon to be kind of annoying. Alright, now we can finally do a mission in the next video, because we just wasted, well, not wasted, we spent 20 minutes getting lured up and finding a new character. So that's going to be it for this video. We also helped a druggie possibly blow up a megacorp and kill a bunch of people. We might end up on a terrorist watch list. We already are on a terrorist watch list, actually, so that's fine. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you next time. Take care.